Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, been a while. I know I said I'd get something else up and, well, other things happened. So I'm still planning to continue the wonderful Kika Chronicles. Got a few gameplay footages more or less ready. Hopefully War Thunder, the actual game client, still says I can play them back and go ahead, get those recorded and uploaded. Good old stuff, right? But I'm not in a super hurry right now because I think those of us who play War Thunder RB frequently are familiar with the wonderful bomber spam up there, and you know what? That TU4. Ooh. There's only so much exciting ground pounding I can show you in the Kika to get experience that is worth putting up on the channel. Can do a little bit here and there, kind of show you side by side, maybe, how it goes. So in the meantime, we're going with something else. What you're looking at right here, well, it's obviously not Japanese. Well, it's a Spitfire. Now, I've featured a Spitfire replay. I think it was a 1A. It was either a 1A or a Mark 2A replay a while back, and I think that was an arcade battle. So this is the first instance of a Spitfire realistic battle on the channel, so hooray. This one is the Mark V Tropical. So some things about the Mark V. It actually doesn't really matter which Spitfire you're looking at. They all have some things in common. They're pretty good turners. They can handle the boom and zoom tactics reasonably well for their battle ratings. They have, at least starting with the Mark IIB, continuing through the Mark V and on, they have these nice, oh, what am I talking about? They're really nice 20mm cannons in the wings. In particular, these are the Mark II Hispanos. Very nice cannons, by the way. The only downside to these cannons, and perhaps I'm a little too used to the Japanese fighters, is that it only gets like something like 60 rounds per gun. So quite often is the case that you will find yourself running dry on the 20 mils because you've got 120 rounds of ammunition on them versus around, 1,200, 1,400 rounds of British 303 in the wings there, and spread across those four wonderful machine guns in the wings next to the edges of the RIF emblem that you see on the wings. So yeah, you quite often find yourself trying to gun enemies down with 303. Despite your best efforts to conserve ammunition with the 20s, it's just going to happen. Accept it. And take a great side that you are probably the only aircraft in rank 3 RB that is trying to use 30 caliber bullets to shoot things down. You can do it. Trust me, you can do it. Oh God, is it painful. Painfully slow, that is. It is the perfect way that you can determine if someone enjoys doing it this way, that they are a sadist. It's too painfully slow for me. I grew addicted to the power of 20mm when I hit the Key 43 Mi Otsu, and haven't looked back. Nope, refuse to look back. Even then, thinking back on those ones, we still had the 12.7mm Type 97s, I believe, on the various iterations of the A6M2 that ground out to that point, leaving rank 2 to rank 3. Anyway, so enough of this stalling, and I don't mean like stalling the aircraft, but biding my time while we get into battle. The battle is upon us, and before us are two Fokker Wolf 190s. Oh boy. Okay, let's see how we do here, right? Oh, wow. Go 20mm. Just clip his wing, why don't we? And that's one of the things I love about 20 mils is that actually doesn't matter 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter. I imagine 23 millimeter works the same way. Is that just put one quick little burst and things fall off enemy aircraft, and that's what we love. And okay, that didn't quite work as well. All right, I'll level with everyone here. When I first approached the Spitfire, I wasn't certain exactly what to make of it. You look at this aircraft and you are quite tempted to try to... Well, there are some similarities. You can look at it and go, can I fly this like a Zero? Well, I'll tell you, don't even try. But there are times you can get away with it. You're going to see one of those instances later on in this particular replay. Okay, so if we can't do it like that, can we try something more like American? Boom and zoom? Well, you can. But that's going to get you into trouble. Because this thing, it does pick up speeds quite surprisingly. And I know that I keep my instrument panels in metric, and I apologize to the users of the Imperial system that watch this channel, but I prefer it that way. When you get up towards like around this speed, if you are not careful with how hard you are on your control surfaces, like how rapidly you pull up, throw into turns and whatnot, you know, that magic 500 kilometers per hour, you're going to find yourself suddenly missing your wings. And that's because the control surfaces on the Spitfire just, I hate to say it, they work too well. And I mean that in the sense that even at high speeds, they still have fairly good authority over the entire airframe. They don't compress the same way a lot of other aircraft do. I know that having flown the P-47 or the BF-109 are good examples. When you get into the higher end of their dive speed tolerance, the controls feel as if they're starting to lock up a little bit. And I've just never felt that in the Spitfire, at least not in that sense. But I tell you that that is deceptive, because it will just shear off your wings. And pardon me while I come back down on this BF-109 F4, give him bits of the good Hispano news, pull ahead of him, put that shot in there, okay, target down, move on. So, you know, I will admit these are been two fairly easy kills right now, but is it because the aircraft is too good? Oh, I don't know. As some people on War Thunder Live have let me know, they believe that Spitfires are easy mode. Well, I can say that about just about anything if the moment it enters its element. The Spitfire, well, it's a joy to fly. It really is a joy to fly. I can't really say that it isn't easy mode. It certainly is more of a joy for me to fly than my Corsairs in-game or the Black Widow. But is it... I find a different enjoyment when I pull out the BF-109s or even the Fokker-Wulf 190s. It's a different level of joy than pulling out the various Japanese aircraft I have, which arguably are stronger turn fighters. They're stronger in a few other respects, but that's a case-by-case bit. Usually the ammo capacity is what gets me. But that's for another day, right? So is it really the case that, you know, this is truly easy mode? Well, I don't know. I think they're good aircraft. There's no doubt about that. But the low speed, the weird ammo assortment, especially on the Mark V. Mark 5B Tropical is very weird with that 120 cannon rounds and 1400 303s, whereas you get the Mark 5C, I believe, which has the 4 20mm Hispanos. And other ones, like the Mark... actually, I think the Mark 9 also has this weird assortment, so it's not... it's hard to say, right? I think they're great aircraft, but like any aircraft, it really depends on who's flying it. You know, and is it really easy mode, or is it just that this person using it knows the situation a little bit better and how to use their airframe more so than their adversary? That's a good question, right? And now I'm not going to say that the gameplay that you're seeing in this particular replay is pushing the airframe to its limits. I've got another one for that, and I promise, since I did quite enjoy that, to get that up on the channel in the next few days. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but real life will be real life. And I hope that you will see that, you know, it really does come down towards that you have the right machine, you're putting the right person at the helm, and it's the right moment for them to shine. And, you know, of course, glorious RNGesus decides that, yes, everything is going more or less in the area that you are pointing it and not deciding to ship it off to the next postcode. Because, you know, my experience flying the Aero Cobra and the King Cobra have taught me that, yeah, it happens. RNGesus is quite cruel sometimes. Especially the P-63. Oh boy. Don't get me started on that 37mm. So, right now, just to clarify, because this is not evident in this particular replay, I really need to get in the habit of recording these live. Yay, I know, right? I am officially, I can't really say it's officious or anything like that, but my aircraft is now code Winchester. That's right, I am completely out of ammo. I have saved nothing, which is why I looked up at the sky, saw the red dot, and I dropped down to the deck and am trying to hug the trees, begging the squirrels to grab their rifles and defend me. Kind of a hilarious sight, right? Something you would expect, like, out of Peanuts cartoon from antiquity. But anyway, this is one of those... Now that I'm in friendly territory, I am mostly safe, but then I get the message, and I'm sorry it's not immediately clear that on the screen, that the message popped up on the HUD that said, player on your team has been hunted. So I'm scanning around making certain it's not me, because I would be royally screwed having no ammunition. And I look up and I'm sitting there going, God, I want to help, but I can't. So the downsides of this particular mechanic: one, it ties down at least one of your players to deal with the bots. Two, it will likely tie up everyone else trying to help said player. And three, all the while it's doing this, everyone who is spotted by the bots is relayed, at least their position is, to the enemy team on their map. Yeah, you know, that overpowered thing you can see by pressing M. Oh boy. Okay, so I need to expedite this landing a little bit, so cut the speed down as best as I can, get the gear down, clear the trees, throw down the flaps, and do not do a jingles landing. Okay, 3, 2, 1, there we go. Okay, no Jingles landing confirmed. Okay, so here's the plan. Rearm. Well, stop. Rearm. Repair. Get up back in the air. Try to deal with those bots before the enemy shows up, because there's still 2-3 enemy players up in the air at this moment. We don't know their positions, but I'm assuming they're up in the air. They're on their way. So let's get this over with as fast as possible. Let's get this thing back up in the air. Okay, come on, ground crews. You can do it. You can do it. Do. Come on. You know, this is part of the, if you open up your crew menu and you see the little thing that says weapon reloading, please try to dump as much points in there as possible. Aircraft repair and repair speed are also very important, because you can go from, you know, like spending half a minute on the tarmac to spending about, 10 seconds on the tarmac. You know, I'm being rough here. I don't have the game client open, so I'm being as rough as possible. And as you would guess it, just by looking up there at the target markers, the sum of all of my fears has come true, so I need to do short field takeoff. Let me get this can up into altitude as fast as possible. So I'm seeing the number of blue dots, and the number of red dots is outnumbering them. Okay, that's what's going on. So we've got 3 players, 2 bots, and it looks like 3 blue dots. Okay, 3 blue dots. Let's hope we keep it at 3 blue dots, because that means that while the total number of red dots is still greater than the total number of blue dots, only 3 of them can be considered significant threats. That is not to say that the bots cannot kill you. Trust me. Anyone who has found the bots throughout, like whether they're the bot bomber pilots and gunners on Wake Island, or the bots, oh yeah, where are the other ones? Oh well, we'll consider like the little AA trucks that go around the map. You know, that underestimating them is a recipe for disaster. So, okay, here's the lay of the land. I see 2 blue dots, I see 2 red dots, and I assume there's still 2 bots. So I'm going to... Okay, it looks like we're still in this kind of 3 players versus 2 players situation. Well, not still, but that's what it's become. We still hold the advantage is what I should be saying. Okay, so... not underestimating the bots, I see a red dot coming near me, and I check. Okay. Do I have a shot? Do I want to take it? Do I really want to waste my precious 120 rounds of 20 mil? Nope. Okay. Oh, there. Zonas is gone. Okay, so it's 1 enemy player and 2 bots. Alright. I can ignore that bot now. Just ignore him. Okay. Last I saw the other player, he was heading in this direction. So let's take a look here, huh? Oh, there you are. You were not where I expected you. Time to get up. I want a little bit more altitude. It's going to give me more options, because I'm going to have slightly better energy, and the aircraft will be slower. It's a little bit weird to think about, right? You usually think higher energy, higher speed. In this case, it gives me the option to exchange the altitude potential energy into turning motion. And as you can see, I'm going to need it. That BF 109 surpasses me in the climb, so I need to out-turn this guy. And pop. Bye. Thanks for playing. So is it really that the Spitfire is easy mode? Or is it that, good pilots are using it? I don't know. You be the judge. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching today's video. If you happen to like it, please consider giving it a like down below. Of course, if you'd like to see more of this type of content, please consider subscribing. So, once again, thank you and have a good day.